Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining and welcome back to Wall Street Bullion. Our guest today is a very good friend, Thomas Parilla, president of Parilla Investment Group. Welcome back, sir.
Hi, Ivan. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming down, speaking to the whole silver, gold, and the investment community. I wanted to get you down to talk about all the excitement that's happening in precious metals, also, of course, all the scary situations we're having geopolitically. But first, let's start off with silver and gold. Since the last time we spoke, silver seems like there's been a breakout. Now it's kind of going sideways, touching 37, touching 36. Now we're around that range. Of course, gold staying around the same levels as before. What is your thought on silver and gold right now?
Ignore every technical analyst out there and just keep stacking. Gold, I'm telling you, since 1050, someone has told me every 200 points, oh, you better sell. It's got to backfill. It's got to go all the way back, retouch this. And then it was 1400 and 1800 and 2000. Silver's going to do the same thing. Now you're at 36 and people are saying, well, it's kind of overstretched maybe. And then it's going to be 38, then it's going to be 40. And someone says, well, I don't want to buy now. It's too expensive. Then it's 42, 44. Uh, I'm going to stick to exactly what we've been talking about. I believe firmly by the end of January next year, we're going to be 5,000 gold and 100 silver. And I think the US dollar index is going to be close to 90. I don't see any way around it. There's some huge problems that are percolating under the economies right now. And right now, everybody's kind of focusing on Israel, focusing on Ukraine, the wars that are going on. What they're missing on is right now, globally, we have a completely broken financial system. It's just a fatally debt sick system. And I don't see any way out of it. Right now, the Eurozone, in my opinion, and this is going to be huge, the Eurozone is in real danger of complete financial collapse in the coming year. They're sitting right now with derivatives. It's unbelievable. It's 100 to 1 leverage on their gold derivatives. And I tell you, if they go down, they're going to take Japan and they're going to take the United States with them at the same time. It's going to be a mess. And they've got the same problems we've got here. This fractional gold where you took in one bar and you sold it out to 100 different people or 1,000 different people. So far this year, 2,000 tons of gold have moved from London to New York.
Wow.
So they're scrambling. And the problem they've got right now is everybody has finally woke up and said, okay, I demand physical delivery. I don't want this paper. Give it to me. They don't have it. And the problem in the Eurozone is they don't have the gold to deliver on the contracts. And they also don't have the cash in order to cover the positions. So it's a 1-2 bang. If you at least had the cash and say, okay, well, I'm going to have to eat this, but I'll pay everybody. You'll be okay. They
Right.
don't have them. And that's where you put your system in a situation where you can have a collapse. Right now, the gross exposure is $1 trillion. And I bet it's more like three. But I mean, they're saying it's about 1 trillion. So I would say right now, I mean, it's kind of like those, 3 card money on the side of the road. Some guy's telling you to watch his right hand while he's stealing from you with his left. We're watching the global events right now, Ukraine, Iran, or Israel. They're big events. But what's happening is the Eurozone and the entire global community is so debt ridden and it's getting worse every day.
Hello, my fellow silver and gold stacker. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching the channel. Subscribe, please like the video, and also hit the notification bell. Keep stacking.
That's the nuclear bomb. That's the one that's going to blow, and it's going to be exceptionally hard to put it back together afterward. I think that will probably be the trigger where we finally say, okay, now we're going to have another Bretton Woods. We got to have a new system in place. And then the question would be the West. I mean, are you going to cede power to the East and allow Shanghai to do this? Yeah, if you wanted to be a bit of a conspiracy theorist, you would say, geez, the Chinese are very good at asymmetrical warfare. Is this part of it? Have they put Shanghai in place and they're trying to squeeze London and squeeze New York so they can have pricing power control over the metals? And in the process, move the prices higher and break the financial systems of both London, the United States, and Japan all in one shot. They could do that kind of damage without ever firing a gun or a missile at any of us. And
Yeah.
that's the danger. People are just not following it very well, I don't think, because we're being led over a cliff without anybody telling you. Right now, TV exposure is terrible. I mean, if you go on TV, I just read this tonight. Media outlets are controlled by just five major mega corporations. So they're controlling the entire narrative. I mean, how long were we told, oh, the Ukrainians, they're winning that war. Look at this, look at this. And then we find out later that we weren't being told the truth at all.
Right.
They're doing the same thing on the financial systems. They're controlling the narrative. And I saw a couple of quotes from Mark Twain tonight. A lie can travel halfway around the world while the truth is still putting on its shoes. And that's exactly what's happening right now. They're
Wow.
telling this lie, don't worry, here it is. But the truth is the global economy is so laden with debt right now. You're just waiting for that one last piece to pop the bubble and then boom. And who can you trust? I mean, you got somebody like Janet Yellen. I pulled up a couple of quotes of hers from 2018. In spring, she says, "It's very likely you'll never see another financial crisis in your lifetime." Fall 2018, she says, "We could have another financial crisis."
Yeah.
Yeah, if these are supposed to be your financial leaders, the people you trust more than anyone in the world. Yeah, I stole a second quote from him. Mark Twain said, "I sometimes wonder, is the world run by smart people who are putting us on, or by imbeciles who really mean it?" And
Could
you
be
have
a
to
mix of both.
Yeah, I mean, are these people that evil, or are they just not that smart? But they're setting us up in a system where we're so laden with debt. You're just waiting for that final, the moment where it's the straw that broke the camel's back.
Right.
And I would say watch the Eurozone. If that blows apart, that might be exactly what happens. The Eurozone blows apart first. It'll take Japan with it because Japan's right on the edge of blowing apart anyway. And in the process, you're going to have a major financial crisis in the U.S. And you're just going to wake up one morning. It's going to happen overseas. You're going to wake up one morning, 8 o'clock. You're going to see it across the screens, financial crisis, like it just came out of nowhere. But I'm telling you, it's been coming for a while, and,
What
and you've been telling your listeners for a couple of years now. This is coming. Start stacking your silver, start stacking your gold. And I think it is coming. There's no doubt about it.
what would you do, Thomas, in an event if we all wake up tomorrow? There's financial crisis overseas. It starts leaking into the US system, Canada. There's a banking crisis. What would be your first three steps? What would you do right away?
The first step is have your emergency plan in place now. Don't wait. If you wait, it'll be too late. Have a plan in place so when that happens, you say, okay, I'm going to do X, X, X. Just basic things maybe for your household. Do I have enough canned goods? Do I have enough frozen food here? Do I have enough water? Just basic necessities that you know you need for maybe a 6 week or 2 month period in case things were to get bad. The second step would be, honestly, if you wake up and you see the crisis is happening, in some ways it's a little bit too late. You need to be reacting now in preparation for it. The old saying on Wall Street always was, you don't get knocked out by the punch you see coming. And all that means is prepare. Get yourself ready now. Have your gold, have your silver, have everything on hand. Hold it yourself. Don't hold it in a bank. Um, and I think that's what you have to do. If you wake up and you try to react to the problem, you're going to be one of those people running in and out of Walmart with grocery carts fighting over toilet paper. You
Yeah,
know, it's not like we didn't see it. It wasn't even a financial crisis, COVID. People fighting over basic necessities in life, taking the last loaf of bread off the shelf at Walmart, running with it. I mean, how crazy is that? You can
yeah,
imagine what would happen in a true financial crisis. So you've got to be ready to hunker down and just have a plan. And that's what I would tell everyone. Just as long as you have your plan in place, then just simply execute it. Okay, we're going to do this, 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 this. I got to worry about my mother, my father. I got to worry about my cousins, whatever. Have your plan in place and how you want to attack it. And then say to yourself, okay, we're perfectly fine. I've got a generator on the side of the house. I've got fuel. I've got ammunition for my guns. I've got gold, silver. I know we can survive.
yeah.
If you have a major calamity, it's not going to be forever. Maybe it's going to be 30 days. Maybe it's going to be 45. They'll restore everything. And we saw that same thing with COVID. You had empty shelves when you went to Walmart. It's restored.
It's
It'll
restored. Yeah,
come
it
back.
took
Yeah.
took a month and then everything's back.
Same thing will happen, after the next financial crisis. The pain from the next one, though, will be from a government point of view, where they're going to have to, at that point, address the currency and say, okay, now we got to get rid of this fiat currency. We've got to go back to something that really matters. And the generation above me, I mean, it'll be too late, but I mean, they're going to have to admit the fact. I mean, Nixon lied to them. Whether you voted for him or you didn't, he lied to you. He said your dollar today is going to be worth the same tomorrow. It's not. It's 98.5% less now, probably going to go to zero.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, yeah, it's funny. The things that were protested in the streets when Nixon was in office, thousands and thousands of people in the street fighting over Vietnam. But at the same time, they made this maneuver where they put us on the fiat currency, and also his crowning achievement was opening China. Now, when I was a kid, the Chinese rode bicycles down the streets to work, and we rode big Cadillacs.
Right.
Now, the Chinese are driving cars, and they all want us to ride bikes. I would like to know how opening China was so great for the American middle class. To me, it gutted it. If you can go over there and manufacture for $1.34 an hour, you're not going to pay a guy 15 or $20 an hour to do the same job in Youngstown.
No.
So how did that help us? It didn't. I think it was another one of those deals where they told you look at the right hand and they stole from you at the left. So just keep doing exactly what you've been preaching. You're probably going to go down in history, Ivan, as one of the guys who was out there in the front telling everybody, look, get prepared and get ready. And you've been doing it for a couple of years. And sometimes people will jump at you and say, geez, you said silver was going up and it went down last week. So what?
Yeah.
You're not a day trader. You're not a gambler. This isn't
No.
Vegas. You're an investor. You're a stacker. And that's the idea. Just keep it up every month. Keep adding to your stacks. Don't worry about it. And when something comes, just simply execute your emergency plan, just like just like every other day. That's the key. If you have a plan in place, then you can stay calm. Then you don't panic, and panic is what causes problems.
And now a message from our sponsor, Juggernaut Exploration.
One of the more exciting ones, I think, is Juggernaut. I know some people say, well, lightning can't strike twice, and but look, I think one of the things you got to reflect on is that some of the guys who work here at Juggernaut are some of the same geologists that basically found and have now advanced sherbet at Goliath, okay, over the past years. So they have a very different way of thinking about exploration in the Golden Triangle than most other geologists, okay? And they've gone out and they've identified what could be another sherbet type target here. And the size of these veins is absolutely jaw-dropping. My hunch is these guys are onto something pretty special.
The link in the description is right below for Juggernaut Exploration. Now back to the episode. Absolutely. Now, Thomas, what are your thoughts on what's going on right now in the Middle East? Do you think that it's possible that Iran's going to close the Strait of Hormuz? For everyone who doesn't know, 25 or 20% of the world's oil and natural gas goes through the Strait of Hormuz, which is located right beside Iran. Iran claims sooner or later they're going to close it. Do you think they will close it? What will that do to the economy, or no? Is it out of the question?
I almost wish the United States, could puff their chest up and do the opposite. Let's blockade it. Shut down the entire oil industry coming out of there. We don't really need their oil here in the United States. We can pump our own fuel. We can survive just fine. The
Right,
Chinese couldn't, though. The Chinese need that Iranian oil. They put that threat above us all the time. They're going to close it. My guess is I think the United States probably would have a plan in place where they would just maybe flatten both sides of the Straits of Hormuz and keep the maritime waterways open.
right,
That would be my guess what they would do. But I'll tell you, during the Iran-Iraq war, I mean, you had ships getting hit all the time. So they mined it, and that was how it was. I would say that's a real possibility. This could go many different ways over the next week or two. I mean, if the Iranian regime falls, the Ayatollah leaves or dies, if they blow the last big nuke site, if the Iranian people rise up, I mean, you could have a whole different Iran a month from now.
right,
Or you could have collapse. You could have Libya. You have different wartime, warlords, factions, fighting over the country. The Turks would probably come in. You'd have a real pain in the neck on your hands. So it could go. Trump's got his hands full. I mean, you could have this go many different ways. I don't know how you can let it go unanswered, though, because I think the Iranians have shown that if they get a nuclear weapon and they're capable of launching on a missile, they're going to use it. I think they would. So, what other choice do you have at this point other than maybe make the tough choice, destroy the last big nuke site, and then go ahead and you're going to have to do some type of regime change. I can't imagine, even though they're floating the idea of bringing the Shah's son back, I don't think the Iranian people would go for it. They
right.
just probably as a CIA stooge, even though I doubt he is. It's probably going to have to be somebody there, but somebody who's more moderate. And the problem there is how many guys that are moderate have survived, you know,
Right,
that haven't been hanging from a crane.
right.
And it's sad, but it's a true statement, but it's really sad that what has happened.
Yeah.
Any opposition leader they've had died. So I think you're going to have to find somebody maybe a little bit younger that's moderate that could come in and maybe turn Iran back. When I was a kid, Iran was a beautiful nation. I mean,
Yeah.
it was open. The universities were good. Yeah, if you look at what has happened to Iran and then over in Lebanon, it's just unbelievable. They've destroyed two beautiful places. People would go on honeymoons to Lebanon.
Wow.
It was considered like the Riviera. It was beautiful. Iran was this exotic places people always wanted to go and visit. It was a beautiful place and it was open and women had, I don't know if it was equal rights, but they had very good rights. And the universities were open to all types of teaching and learning. It was a different time. And I think this Iranian regime is just pure evil. And they've done nothing but spread death and destruction for the last 50 years everywhere you go around the world. And they've got to come to an end. And I think that'll be a very tough thing, but I don't think Trump has any choice. I think he's got to bring that to an end. And then afterward, they've got to make sure they don't make the mistake they did in Afghanistan, where they just cut bait and run, and they turn, Kandahar turned into a mess over there after we left. They've got to
Yeah.
make sure that Iran becomes a good, moderate nation that is good for all their citizens, and then get out of there, leave them alone. That's the thing. Don't stake your claim to it. Get out, leave them alone, let them make their own way in the world, but a peaceful way. And at that point, I think maybe you could have peace in the Middle East even. I think Yemen's still sitting out there. They might be the last one. But I mean, you're still going to have at least a chance then where the Saudis would combine with everybody else over there and actually try to bring peace to the entire area.
Yeah.
And that'd be the first time in my whole lifetime.
Yeah,
So,
no, we're for sure we're waiting for it. The Middle East is so crazy the past 30, 40 years. Like there needs to be some type of peace down there eventually. Uh
if you look at crude oil tonight, it's interesting. Crude oil is at 73.48 down a little because they're kind of him-hawing how, whether Trump's going to hold off on the strike or
right.
not.
Right.
But Brent is up 2.66%.
Wow.
It's kind of interesting to see a divergence like that of over 3%, but Brent's at 78.74. Um, I would say that would be a play for somebody who's not in the gold or silver market. If this settles down, we get this all behind us, there's going to be a glut of oil and gas coming on the markets because everyone's going to pump, and the Saudis are going to pump as fast as they can pump.
Oh yeah.
I think you'd probably have a decent play at maybe bringing, natural gas and oil back down after this is all done. Somebody might find a decent short play there if they're a trader. In my case, I'm sticking to the same thing. I try to stay as far away from trading and gambling as I can, and I stick
Yes,
to stacking
same.
it because I sleep better. I'm still, doing my same thing where I use about 10% for the exploration miners. And I'll tell you that's getting exciting because you're getting the time now up in Canada. Drill seasons are starting. The snow's
Yeah.
melting. And for me, this is like the Super Bowl. This is the best time of the year. Everybody's going out, and the geologists are head out. They get the rig set up, and now they're ready to go. And I think I would encourage everybody out there when you start now looking at your exploration miners, put together your list of 20 or so that you really like. I like the same ones. Goliath, boy, they've raised a boatload of money. I think it's up to
Yeah.
maybe 44, $45 million.
Yeah, Goliath is very interesting.
And I'll tell you something, nobody throws that kind of money at an exploration miner unless they already know what's in the ground.
Yeah.
Sprott, McEwen, those guys, and they know what's already in there. I'm positive they do. But I tell you, you look at those guys, you look at their sister company next door, Juggernaut. You got Onyx Gold up there, you got Dolly Varden, you got Sitka. I mean, there's a list of them, goes on and on. So I've got my list together. I mean, I've got one down here in the United States I really like. It's a Canadian owned company. Mike Stark's the CEO, Arizona Gold and Silver, but
Oh
he has
yes.
American properties. So that's the one I like down here in the United States. But I have my own list I keep together, and then I would say get a list of 20 of them and put together your own fund and say, okay, out of that 20, I want to buy 8 to 10, and that's what I'm going to throw it into. But I'd stick to that 90-10 barbell. Just, keep stacking your metals, and then, if you enjoy it, look at the exploration miners.
Yeah, absolutely, Thomas. I agree with you 110%. I want to thank you so much for coming down, speaking to the silver and the gold and the investment community. It's such a pleasure, Thomas, having you come down to speak to everyone. I'm super, super grateful. Before you go though, where can people connect with you?
Yeah, you just basically just reach out to me on LinkedIn. Even if I'm traveling, I try to reach out there at least once a day anyway to follow up. But that's the easiest way to get me.
Yeah, I'll put the links in the description below. Thomas, again, thank you so much for speaking to everyone here in the community. Everyone watching, please hit the like button. Please hit subscribe. And Thomas, as always, as the market develops, would absolutely love to have you back on.
Great. Thanks, Ivan.
Talk to you soon.